10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, 0.
Knight f3. d6. Knight g5. e5. Knight takes f7. King takes f7. e3. Knight f6. Bishop c4 check. Bishop e6. Bishop e2. Knight c6. Bishop h5 check. Knight takes h5. Queen takes h5 check. g6. Queen f3 check. King g7. Queen e2. Bishop e7. d4. c5. e3. c takes d4. f4. e6. e takes d4. d5. Knight f3. Knight c6. Bishop d3. a6. Short castle. e5. h3. e4. Bishop takes e4. d takes e4. Knight e5. f6. Knight takes c6. Bishop e7. Knight takes e7. Queen takes e7. Rook e1. Queen f7. Queen e2. Knight e7. e4. e5. Knight f3. d6. Bishop c4. Knight f6. Bishop d5. Knight takes d5. Knight c3. Knight takes c3. d takes c3. Bishop e7. Bishop g5. Short castle. Bishop takes e7. Queen takes e7. Knight g5. Queen takes g5. Queen h5. Queen takes h5. g4. Queen g5. f3. Queen f4. d4. e6. e3. d6. f4. c6. Knight f3. b6. Bishop d3. a6. Short castle. f6. f5. g6. f takes e6. h6. e7. Queen takes e7. Rook e1. f5. e4. Knight f6. e takes f5. Bishop g7. f takes g6. Short castle. d5. c takes d5. Knight c3. Bishop d7. Rook takes e7. Bishop b5. Rook takes g7 check. b3. d6. Bishop b2. e5. Knight c3. Knight f6. d3. Bishop e7. e3. Short castle. Bishop e2. Bishop e6. Knight f3. Knight c6. e4. d5. Short castle. d takes e4. d takes e4. Queen takes d1. Rook a takes d1. Bishop d6. Rook fe1. Rook a d8. Rook d2. a6. Rook e d1. h6. Bishop d3. g5. Bishop e2. d4. e6. e3. d5. f4. c5. Bishop d3. Knight c6. Knight f3. c takes d4. e takes d4. Knight takes d4. Short castle. Queen b6. Knight takes d4. Queen takes d4 check. King h1. Bishop d7. Knight c3. Long castle. f5. Queen takes d3. Queen takes d3. Bishop b5. Queen takes b5. a6. Queen b6. e3. d6. Queen f3. e5. Bishop c4. Knight f6. Bishop takes f7 check. King takes f7. Knight e2. Bishop e6. e4. Bishop e7. d3. Rook f8. Bishop g5. King g8. Bishop takes f6. Bishop takes f6. Queen g4. Bishop takes g4. Knight g3. Bishop h5. Short castle. Bishop g6. f3. d5. d4. e6. e3. d5. f4. Bishop e7. Knight f3. Knight f6. Bishop d3. h6. h3. Short castle. Short castle. Bishop d7. c4. c6. C takes d5. C takes d5. Knight c3. Bishop c6. Bishop d2. Knight fd7. Queen c2. f5. Rook a e1. a6. Knight e5. Knight takes e5. F takes e5. Knight d7. e4. Bishop b5. e4. d6. e5. D takes e5. Bishop b5 check. c6. Bishop e2. Knight f6. d3. e6. Bishop g5. Bishop e7. Knight f3. Short castle. Bishop d2. h6. Knight g5. Bishop d7. h4. H takes g5. H takes g5. Knight g4. d4. d5. e3. Knight f6. f4. b6. Knight f3. Bishop b7. Bishop d3. Knight c6. Short castle. Queen d7. h3. Long castle. c4. g6. C takes d5. Knight takes d5. Knight c3. Knight takes e3. Bishop takes e3. Bishop g7. Queen d2. Bishop takes d4. Bishop takes d4. Knight takes d4. Knight takes d4. Queen takes d4 check. King h1. e3. d6. Queen f3. e5. Bishop c4. Knight f6. g4. Bishop e6. g5. Bishop takes c4. G takes f6. Queen takes f6. Queen takes f6. G takes f6. Knight f3. Knight c6. King d1. e4. King e1. E takes f3. King d1. Bishop e2 check. King e1. d5. Rook g1. d4. Rook h1. d4. d5. e3. Knight f6. f4. b6. Knight f3. Bishop b7. Bishop d3. Knight c6. Short castle. Queen d7. c4. Long castle. C takes d5. Knight takes d5. Knight c3. Knight takes c3. B takes c3. e6. Bishop d2. g6. Queen c2. Bishop g7. Rook fc1. Knight a5. Rook a b1. Bishop takes f3. G takes f3. c3, d6, d3, e5, queen c2, knight f6, e3, bishop e7, f4, short castle, g4, e takes f4, h4, knight takes g4, knight h3, knight takes e3, knight takes f4, knight takes f1, king takes f1, bishop takes h4, rook g1, bishop g5, queen g2, bishop h6, d4, e6, e3, queen e7, f4, d5, knight f3, c6, bishop d3, b5, h3, knight a6, c4, knight b4, c takes d5, knight takes d3 check, queen takes d3, c5, short castle, c takes d4, e takes d4, queen d6, queen takes b5 check, c3, d6, e4, e5, bishop c4, knight f6, knight f3, bishop e7, bishop takes f7 check, king takes f7, knight g5 check, king g8, queen b3 check, d5, e takes d5, queen d6, c4, h6, knight f3, e4, d4, e takes f3, g takes f3, c6, c5, queen takes d5, d4, b6, e3, bishop b7, f4, knight c6, knight f3, d6, bishop d3, queen d7, short castle, long castle, h3, f6, c4, king b8, knight c3, e5, d takes e5, d takes e5, f takes e5, f takes e5, e4, rook e8, bishop c2, bishop b4, queen takes d7, bishop takes c3, b takes c3, d4, d5, e3, knight f6, f4, b6, knight f3, bishop b7, bishop d3, g6, short castle, bishop g7, h3, e6, c4, knight c6, c takes d5, e takes d5, knight c3, queen d7, bishop d2, long castle, queen c2, knight e4, rook a d1, knight takes d2, queen takes d2, knight a5, knight f3, d6, knight e5, d takes e5, e4, knight f6, bishop b5 check, c6, bishop e2, e6, short castle, bishop d6, f3, short castle, d3, bishop d7, bishop g5, queen e7, knight c3, h6, bishop h4, queen e8, bishop f2, bishop e7, g3, c5, king h1, d4, e6, e3, d6, f4, bishop e7, knight f3, knight f6, bishop d3, short castle, h6, h3, d5, c4, c6, c takes d5, c takes d5, e4, knight b d7, e takes d5, e takes d5, knight c3, b6, Bishop e3. Rook b8. Queen d2. Bishop b7. King h1. Queen c8. e3. d6. Queen f3. e5. Bishop c4. Knight f6. Bishop takes f7 check. King takes f7. Knight h3. h6. Knight g5 check. H takes g5. Queen g4. Bishop takes g4. f3. Bishop e6. g4. Knight c6. Short castle. d5. h3. Bishop e7. King g2. King e8. b3. King d7. Bishop b2. Queen f8. Bishop takes e5. e3. d6. d3. e5. Bishop e2. Knight f6. e4. d5. Knight f3. d takes e4. h3. e takes f3. Bishop takes f3. Bishop d6. Short castle. Short castle. Bishop d2. Bishop e6. Rook e1. Knight c6. Bishop e3. Queen d7. Knight c3. Rook a d8. a3. Bishop takes h3. Bishop e4. Bishop takes g2. King takes g2. Knight takes e4. d takes e4. d4. Knight c6. e3. Knight takes d4. E takes d4. e6. Knight f3. Bishop b4 check. c3. Bishop e7. Bishop e2. Knight f6. Short castle. Short castle. h3. h6. Bishop e3. d5. Queen c1. b6. Bishop takes h6. c6. Bishop takes g7. King takes g7. Knight e5. Rook g8. Knight d2. King f8. Knight b3. d4. f6. e3. e6. f4. g6. Knight f3. King f7. Bishop d3. Knight e7. h3. King g7. Short castle. h5. Knight c3. Knight f5. Bishop takes f5. E takes f5. e4. d5. E takes f5. Bishop takes f5. Bishop e3. Bishop e4. Knight takes e4. c6. Knight c3. Knight d7. Queen d3. Knight b6. Rook a e1. d4. d6. e3. e5. Bishop e2. E takes d4. E takes d4. Knight f6. c3. Bishop e7. Knight f3. Short castle. Short castle. c5. Rook e1. C takes d4. Knight b d2. D takes c3. B takes c3. Knight c6. Knight f1. Bishop g4. Knight e3. Bishop takes f3. Bishop takes f3. Queen d7. Bishop takes c6. Queen takes c6. Queen f3. Rook f e8. d4. c6. e3. d5. f4. Knight f6. Knight f3. Knight e4. Bishop d3. Knight c3. Knight takes c3. e6. Short castle. Bishop e7. Rook e1. Short castle. e4. d4. d5. e3, e6, f4, bishop e7, knight f3, knight f6, bishop d3, short castle, h3, knight e4, short castle, f5, bishop takes e4, d takes e4, knight e5, knight c6, knight c3, knight takes e5, f takes e5, bishop b4, bishop d2, bishop takes c3, bishop takes c3, c5, d takes c5, queen takes d1, rook a takes d1. h3, d6, h4, e5, h5, knight f6, h6, g6, g3, bishop e6, g4, knight c6, g5, knight d5, f3, queen takes g5, f4, e takes f4, e3, queen g3 check, king e2, f takes e3, king d3, queen e5, d takes e3, knight f6, king e2, bishop c4 check, king e1, queen g3 check, d4, d5, e3, bishop g4, f4, bishop takes d1, king takes d1, knight f6, knight f3, e6, bishop d3, bishop d6, c4, short castle, c takes d5, h6, d takes e6, f takes e6, knight c3, e5, bishop d2, e4, bishop takes e4, knight takes e4, knight takes e4, rook e8, knight c3, bishop b4, king c2, bishop takes c3. b3, d6, bishop b2, e5, g3, knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7, e3, short castle, knight e2, knight c6, short castle, bishop d7, d4, queen c8, d takes e5, d takes e5, bishop takes c6, bishop takes c6, f4, e takes f4, e takes f4, bishop d6. f4, d6, knight f3, e5, g3, e takes f4, bishop g2, f takes g3, h takes g3, knight f6, short castle, bishop e7, d3, bishop e6, e4, knight c6, bishop f4, queen d7, bishop g5, h6, bishop takes f6, bishop takes f6, queen e2, long castle, rook e1, bishop g4, queen f1, bishop takes f3, d4, e5, e3, e takes d4, e takes d4, bishop b4 check, c3, bishop e7, knight f3, knight c6, bishop e2, knight f6, short castle, knight d5, h3, knight f4, bishop takes f4, bishop g5, bishop e3, bishop takes e3, f takes e3, knight e7, knight bd2, knight f5, knight b3, knight takes e3. e4, d6, d4, e5, knight f3, e takes d4, bishop c4, d3, bishop takes f7 check, king takes f7, knight g5 check, king e8, queen f3, queen e7, queen takes d3, h6. Knight f3. Knight f6. Short castle. Knight c6. Queen b3. Knight f3. d6. c3. e5. d4. Knight f6. d takes e5. d takes e5. Knight takes e5. Queen e7. Knight takes f7. Queen takes f7. Queen d8 check. King takes d8. Bishop g5. Bishop e7. Bishop takes f6. Bishop takes f6. e3. Rook e8. Bishop e2. Bishop e6. Bishop f3. Knight c6. Short castle. d4. Knight f6. e3. e6. f4. Bishop b4 check. c3. Bishop takes c3 check. b takes c3. d5. Knight f3. c5. Bishop d3. c takes d4. e takes d4. Bishop d7. Short castle. Knight c6. h3. Knight takes d4. c takes d4. d4. d6. e3. e5. f4. Knight c6. f takes e5. Knight takes d4. e takes d6. c takes d6. e takes d4. d5. Knight f3. Queen e7 check. Bishop e2. Queen takes e2 check. Queen takes e2 check. Bishop e7. Short castle. Bishop e6. Rook e1.